see you. Click show on stream. Oh, here we are.
Here we are.
Can you see us? Can you hear us? Hello.
Hello.
We're here. We made it. Okay, firstly, we have to make sure that we're actually live. Joe, you can not necessarily look at the phone. It just you could talk to the folks.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, there we go. So we're live. And I think, yeah, that you can hear and see us. So thank you very much. I'm going to let just the folks on Twitter know that we are live, or I think like we even go live on Twitter. I don't know how that works. Oh yeah. It's
Yeah, we're
live. It's live on Twitter too. So hopefully people will come and join us. Thank you very much for joining us today. And my goodness, it's been a while. It's been a while, and I'll catch you up, I guess, on like what's been happening. I mean, not a whole lot. Just not been feeling good, to be honest. But so glad for me to actually be feeling good to be doing this. Number one. And number two, for all of us, for all of you to be joining us today. I've had an incredible day already, like so far. And the incredible day actually started. Joe just lost the cap of his water bottle. Sorry. Yeah, it's been an incredible day so far already. The first thing that I noticed when I woke up this morning was that I felt okay. And that's something that I haven't felt in, like, I would say at least a couple of months. I've woken up every day kind of like feeling like garbage, like some level of garbage for the last nauseous and like just not feeling good, and not digestion's been awful, and like my head sometimes is just kind of foggy and stuff like that, and it's just been a tricky time. So the fact that I woke up today feeling good as like first gift, thank you so much to whatever I can thank in the world, the universe, everything. And also Mr. Lyons, Mr. Stephen Lyons, at Stephen Lyons on Twitter. He had set, he's a let me back up for a second. He is a high school teacher in Minnesota whose birthday is actually tomorrow. So we're kind of birthday twins. We're birthday twins. Why not? And last year he did this remarkable thing where he recorded his high school band, and various number of people in his life wishing me a happy birthday, and that was a remarkable thing. I mean, Minnesota. We're in Toronto, Canada. You know, to be honest with you, this is a really awful thing. I wouldn't be able to to locate Minnesota. I would not. It would take me a while to figure that one out. So the fact that there are like a group of people in Minnesota who have dedicated their time and their energy and their talents to rehearse and to wish me a happy birthday is a remarkable thing. So this morning what happened was that they just, I guess I was on a big screen in their music room, and there were like, I don't know, like 50 kiddos or so, the choir and a band, and they wished me a happy birthday. They sang me happy birthday, and there's a song that I think a friend of our composition, a friend of like Mr. Lyons had composed called "Choose Joy," and it's something that he had played for me in the past with an adult band that he had also did a few songs where he dedicated to me. Amazing. So that was like the first start of my day, where apparently I was on a large screen crying my eyes out at these great kids, these talented kids, wish me a happy birthday and played me happy birthday this morning. So it started out that way, and then spent the day with Joe. Didn't do a whole lot because there was a potential that there was somebody that was going to be coming into our apartment to do some fire alarm stuff. Didn't end up happening, but we're so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be not feeling. I'm just as happy to be feeling pretty good. So all that said, I rambled on for 5 minutes. I see there are a number of people here, and I'm super excited to see them. And I foresee Kyle.
It's Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. It's so good to see you. And I got happy birthday and greetings, loves, and salutations to you, St. Joe.
Greetings.
And here's Chris. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much. And thank you for your birthday greetings. And thank you for confirming that we are live and that you can see and hear us. Thank you so much. And James,
There's James.
thank you so much for your birthday greetings. And thank you for joining us today. And I hope you're doing well. I think of you often. And congratulations again on the Braves doing very well. And we're all there's I think a number of baseball fans here. So for our friend James, are very happy about them.
Won the division
with the Braves doing very well.
Yeah, probably shell shocked the Mets, I guess, too, because they had the division lead for like 99% of the season. So
yeah,
good job.
Yeah, so congratulations. Yeah, it's like specifically James, good job for doing that. But
good cheering.
good job for the Braves to be able to do that. And here's also our friend Cheryl from on the other side. You know what? Again, I'm not going to do anything about geography, but our friend Cheryl, of course, from the western part. She's a huge Seattle Mariners fan, and congratulations to Cheryl and the Seattle Mariners.
Yep.
I really don't want for the Jays to play the Mariners. I don't, because it just feels like I don't want either of them to get eliminated.
Yeah, two smaller market teams.
Not even that. I mean, we're Jays fans clearly, and I'm also like I'm really happy that the Mariners have made it into the postseason after the drought that they've had for I forget like how many years, like 50. Cheryl, you would know, and it's a remarkable thing that it's happened, and I think it's an exciting team. And I know that in the recent months there's been, or recent weeks, injuries, but I also saw Julio Rodriguez come back. Such an exciting player, you know, and so congratulations, Cheryl. And again, like hoping that we don't play you, but at the same time, if that happens, we'll have to sort that out. But Kathy, hello.
Hey, Kathy.
Thank you. We have a couple actually presents I'll be opening, and Cheryl, your package has arrived, and I'll be opening that today. And Kathy, your gift arrived too, so I'm excited about opening those too. So thank you very much, and thank you for coming. Chris says good vibes. That's what we aim for. Hi Martin, thank you so much. Well, I appreciate you popping in before you go for your walk. Hope you have a nice walk. Cheryl says 21 years. 21 years.
Oh, has it been that long?
See how, like, I mean, I can't, like, there's something about hearing that it's been like 21 years, like there's been a playoff drought. So the Seattle Mariners had the longest streak of not making it into the playoffs in all major league sports, is what I understand, Cheryl. If that's, please correct me if I'm wrong. And so the fact that it like the Mariners have this exciting team and you're able to make it into the playoffs, it would just be, I don't know, like I just wouldn't want like this wild card thing to, I mean, anyway, that's just my feeling on things. So but so excited about the playoffs that are coming up. We're wrapping up the season. There's a Jays game tonight, but it's inconsequential. I looked at the lineup, and there's like just bench guys pretty much that are playing
Bat
tonight.
boys, water boys.
Wow. Yeah, so we can talk baseball is all, I'm sure like many of you can tell and know about us. And we've just was gifted some incredible baseball tickets in last so
Sunday.
it was Sunday, and it was the last home game of the season, and we were playing the Boston Red Sox, and we had these ridiculous seats. Right, like
right beside the Jays dugout.
Right beside the Jays dugout, pretty much right behind home plate.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought even maybe cooler than behind home plate, because we see the guys like right in front of us warming up on the circle, on the on deck circle.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
And we talked to
John
Schneider, the Jays manager, bits, and we were able to get a ball for a kid sitting behind us from like one of the Bat Boys. Tossed up a baseball for the kid, and we passed it on. So that was really cool. And actually, when they hit a home run, there were a few home runs that game. You could see us on television because that's where they put on the jacket and everything like that.
We were just like when they shoot the dugout, it just like we would just be there because of those particular seats. But again, like I want to just mention, like Joe probably wants to show pictures of us on TV. Like I don't know why that would be of interest, but so this incredible gift came about as a result of Tara Anderson, her friend Steve, and I think that there are other people, Charlie, other people who have pulled strings, I think, in the background to make it happen. Not quite 100% sure, but all I know is that we were just privileged to be able to have these seats on Sunday. And if you're interested in seeing anything,
so that's where we were.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Sorry.
Are you though?
Yeah, no, I am. So we were very, very close.
You can actually see a whole video about that on this channel. But it was incredible. It was incredible.
Oh wait, let me show this. Let me hold on. Oh.
Okay, can I?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Kyle says, I know it's kind of improper to ask a lady, but just how young are you today, Princess? I am 47 years old. No, 48 years old. Oh, I like you got in there. You're 48. Yeah. I'm 48 today.
48 is great.
Huh, that's good. Yeah, 48 is great. And Cheryl says, really awesome to see your pic. So happy you were feeling well enough to enjoy that. You know, it really, really helped. We got this, I think you might have seen, if you'd seen the video of us at that baseball game, you'll see that I have a walker and use the walker. And a few months ago decided that we were just gonna get the walker just in case it would come in handy, and it's just come in handy.
Yeah.
At the last,
for energy levels and everything like that. So.
Yeah. So having Joe push me to the game, we thankfully live actually very, very close to the stadium. So you know that helped. But by the end of the game, I was done. It was really tough. But I'm really hoping that I'm really glad to have had the experience. I wish that I had felt better during it, especially the last two innings. The last two innings got kind of tricky.
Nauseous.
Beginning to feel nauseous, and that's always tough. And then we had a winning game, And because of the seats that we were in, I guess that's where all the people looking for autographs descend at the very end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And holy mackerel, like trampled, got
Yeah.
trampled.
Yeah.
My feet like
The
were gonna get
kids
trampled,
and
and yeah, and I.
everybody just kind of
But it's
pushed by there. And I mean, we saw some of the players up. Actually, one really cool thing is we saw when we first arrived, we saw Adam Simber.
just one of the bullpen guys,
Yeah,
relief pitchers.
yeah, and he was signing for autographs like right by our seat.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of it, it was Espinal who
Yep.
came out.
Yeah.
But it was just a mad push by all these people. Like they were.
Yeah, and
And it was just like, take a second. Hey, do you mind? Like we have to get the bag and we'll get out of here. But
well, it got to that point. I was
yeah.
hoping just to be able to sit and just watch the whole thing kind of go down, but there are like kids on top of me.
Mhm.
There were like people just
stepping
like
on your toes.
yeah, and like just it was very interesting how
Right.
it devolved from like order to this complete chaos.
Right.
At least from where I was sitting at the time. But no, it was really I really put a lot of energy into having energy to go to that game.
Yeah,
And
you rested up for it too. Like,
it was like my Olympic sport of resting to get to be able to get through that game. But it was an incredible game.
oh yeah, it was. I've never. Neither one of us has been that close.
Yeah.
Like it was so crazy.
Yeah. And Cheryl, before that, you had said, "Thank you, Mio. So sweet. Toronto's been hot. We've been playing like playoff baseball pretty much for the last like month or so, and hopefully we don't take our feet off the gas because it's coming on Friday, our first game."
Yeah, so
And
let me just show this. Sorry.
No, you're not sorry. He says he's sorry, but he's not. He
I'm
just
sorry.
wants to show you whatever he wants to show you.
So there's Vladdy. Look how close he is. I got the jacket. That was really amazing. All right. We were so close.
Thank you for
That's
indulging us. And Kyle says, "My friends are TV stars." Yeah, we did make the TV a couple of times. It was fun to get like the screenshots and things that people were sending us, so that was really fun. Shen says, "Happy birthday, pulling for the Jays along with Vladdy Jr. Cheers. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Thank you so much. And I am having a wonderful happy birthday. Thank you." And Kyle gives us a 48 years young. I honestly don't, especially in how I've been feeling the last couple of months. Honestly, I have felt like hundreds of years old. It feels like.
And the other thing too is, for a lot of her appointments and that, it's been very difficult for just energy wise, through chemotherapy and everything, to get the energy to go. And so I've been very worried about that because your energy level sometimes. So I mean, the walker really came in handy.
It does for sure, and sometimes it's tough, because we actually, and I think some of you who follow Zach Hampel may have seen that we saw him at the game when he was here in Toronto. That was really fun. But that day I was super struggling. I had actually some stuff that I was doing earlier in the day that was outside of my normal. It was a TV interview that ended up kind of going sideways. It didn't end up doing very well, or going very well, I don't think. Oh, okay. I'll just say this: the TV interview. The interview itself apparently was fine. It's just what they ended up putting together and broadcasting wasn't all that great, but it was what it was. But anyway, for the first few hours of that particular day, when Zach was in town to go watch the game at the Dome, I had coincidentally this thing that I had to do for a few hours in the morning, which is outside of what I generally do. And so it was very much an energy drain from that perspective. Came home, rested up as much as I could to go to the game, because I just really wanted to have an opportunity to see Zach again in person and to see him working and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pretty remarkable thing actually to see
Mm-hmm.
Zach in action, not just on camera but actually in person and how he is. Just really fascinating and amazing and interesting, and it's seeing somebody who knows exactly what they're looking for doing their thing. It's I'm what I imagine like what it might be like to have like a director, like a film director who has like a vision, who knows exactly what it is that they're wanting to achieve. And he has that from the level of like putting videos together, but also in how he situates himself, in how he gets the balls and how he gets the balls and all that kind of stuff. He's so well thought out in a lot of what he does, that it's just seeing him work is just a privilege. It's so fascinating,
Yeah.
and so like I feel like very lucky that we know him and that we
Yeah.
had an opportunity to see him again. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it was funny because we were in left field, I believe, originally. Like when we got there, we were in left field, and it was during batting
we were in center
practice.
field. We were in
Oh,
center
center
field,
field. Yeah.
either to the left side of center field or the right side of center field.
Yeah, but
So
like that.
not quite
Yeah,
left
so
to
that kind of
right.
black patch, and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So we were there, and it was batting practice, and you know, one of the players hit like a home run ball on the second level, like it was a rocket. And as soon as I looked up, it was Zach Heppo up on the second level, and he caught it. Like it was so uncanny that he
Yeah.
just sort of knew, like, I'm gonna go up here. And I think he got a couple balls up there too. So I just like looked, and I was like, oh, there he is.
Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in seeing that video, we make like literally a cameo in it.
Yeah.
It's on Zach's channel, and he is. It says I forget what it's called actually. I'll look it up and maybe put the link in the description, so that if anyone's interested in seeing it,
Yeah,
it's
it's probably his last video where
no.
he was in Toronto. Like if you go back a bit,
Yeah,
like to,
he was only in one video in
yeah,
Toronto.
yeah, because
So
he was trying to get to all 30 stadiums in the season.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He so when he came up, it was in the middle of September, and I think he also I don't know how he'd feel about me like sharing this, but like I think he also wanted to take a day off up here, so he made the trip, and he went to the game and caught a bunch of balls at the game, and probably more than he thought that he was going to catch. And then I think he spent the day just hanging out up
mm-hmm.
here, which was hopefully he had a good time. I didn't really get too much of. Just he said that he said that he had a good time, so I'm happy to hear that he did. Cal says, I'm thankful to Zach every day as he brought you two angles.
Mm-hmm.
No, angels into my life. And I'm so thankful to Zach too. I mean, like it was like an incredible experience to see Yankee Stadium and experience Yankee Stadium with him. Somebody who pretty much probably could draw, the whole stadium backwards and forwards, and it kind
Mm-hmm.
of pretty much like tell you all the like the nooks and crannies of like the Yankee Stadium, and how to get around, and all the neat stuff and things like that, and to have had the opportunity to experience Yankee Stadium with Zach last September was such
Yeah,
a treat.
yeah.
And not only
It was
that,
almost like a year to the
to the day,
day.
yeah, that we saw him again this year here. The thing I was most it, and sometimes things just line up, like just with luck, and the thing that happened, I feel, for us is that it was not great weather going into that day with Zach when we were with him at Yankee Stadium, and so there weren't a ton of people there
Yeah.
because gets he gets recognized, and as much as there are people, detractors, and people who are critical of who he is and what he does, there are a ton of kids and other people who get such joy from seeing him and meeting him
Mhm.
and getting balls from him and watching his videos. We were waiting to get into the stadium
In
on the night in
Toronto.
Toronto that night when we did see um, Zach here in Toronto, and there was so we were waiting to get in. For some reason, it took a long time for them to open the gates that day. I don't know why, but anyway, so we were waiting, and Joe starts talking to some of the like younger kids that were right behind us in line,
Well,
and
there was a couple kids, and I guess their father, and they had a bunch of signed hats and jerseys and stuff like that. So I think I just said, "Oh, who signed that?" Or
yeah, I know you ended up getting in conversation with them, and then somehow or another told them that Zach Campbell was going to be there, and one kid just completely freaked out. Like he was just like, "What? What? Zach Campbell's going to be here? Oh my god!" And it's just to see the joy
mm-hmm.
in like we as adults, like we literally lose the sort of like the childlike joy and happiness and enjoyment that like kids have of just like meeting a guy who is like catching an incredible amount of balls like on YouTube, you know. And I think that one of the things like people might be, I don't know, may not understand perhaps specifically my love of baseball. A lot of that has to do with the joy. It's just like what other like there are so many ways to find joy in life, but there's something about for me anyway, like baseball
Mm-hmm.
and music, and there's other things too, but just to find that same level of like when we used to be kids and just get so excited about something so fun and
Mm-hmm.
um it's such a joy to see. And the fact that like I was just kind of like peering over my shoulder while we were waiting to get into the ball game that day, and these kids were just like, this one kid was just so, he was vibrating with excitement,
Yeah.
vibrating, and it was pretty cool to
See,
to see that.
yeah, and he always signs stuff like for the kids and takes
Zach does.
time. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
cool too.
but sometimes though, like the some of the criticism that he gets is that he'll tell fans, tell people who approach him while he's working, because that's what he's doing. He's working, and he's trying to get a foul ball or a home run ball or whatever it might be. Excuse me.
Or during a game, like
Yeah, during
when.
during play of game, and especially when he's looking for, I think, specific potential balls to come his way. He might say, let me get back to you after the next half inning or whatever it is, or the end of this inning or whatever it is. And I think that some people take that as him kind of like snubbing or something like that, when really he's working.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be like a job that like most people would think is it certainly isn't a typical job. He's
Mm-hmm.
certainly made one for himself,
Yeah,
but he's working,
yeah,
and it's funny how like he gets, I don't know,
yeah.
criticized for things like that.
But he did. He was there to try to catch Vladdy's
100
100th.
career.
Yeah, but didn't hit a home run. So.
Not that day, a couple days later, I think. So Kyle says he just posted his San Diego video earlier today, the 30th of
Mm-hmm.
his season. Yeah, we saw that too, earlier
Yeah, we
today.
just saw that.
Yeah. And it's glad, I think in the video he said it was his fifth time doing all 30 stadiums in one season.
Wow.
So remarkable, incredible.
James has done that too.
Yeah,
So.
James did it a couple of seasons, last season,
Mm-hmm.
and we had an opportunity to be the part of his 30th. we're pretty, not square angles. That's dumb. um, Leslie, thank you so much. I'm having a great birthday. Thank you so much for joining us
Mhm.
today too. Kyle says a YouTube celebrity is as big as any other TV or movie celebrity
Yeah,
nowadays. I would.
I would say it is the new movie star. Because yeah, it's so huge. Um, YouTubers and especially YouTubers with like huge followings, they get recognized. They are like pop stars, or I would argue like they're um, bigger than. I'm not gonna say like Tom Cruise or anything like that, but
Tom
I
Cruise.
mean as like an actor or whatever. I mean they are like the new sort of actors, I guess. That makes any sense.
um, what I will say about this is that YouTube is a very different medium in the sense that it's not a it doesn't feel removed, right? I think
Hmm.
people who consume YouTube or are on YouTube or follow people on YouTube get invested in the people
Right.
that they follow because it could be their content,
Hmm.
it could be like their personalities, it could be sort of the slice of life stuff that you sometimes get. Um, but it just feels like it's more, you know, not like twice removed or three times removed. Like if it's TV, you know that
It's structured and it's
yeah,
segments
but
and
also that the broadcasters are choosing on your behalf like what you want to watch, right?
hmm
I think that's one of the things that was interesting for me with this TV interview thing that I did, that I talked a little bit about earlier, is that it was with a broadcaster here in Canada, and it was so fascinating for me to because there was other media interviews that I had done in the last month or so, and last couple of months or so, and just to notice the difference between um, this how like these broadcast media works like versus something like YouTube where you can just choose yourself to tell the
hmm
story that you want to tell. And so I think that there is even like more authenticity, right? I mean, and the thing with Zach is that he isn't creating, a TV show for a network or anything like that. He's in complete control of what he films, how he films, and what he wants to say to the people that are his fans or his followers.
hmm
And I think that as a result of that, you feel closer to the people who are on TV or movie stars or anything like
hmm
that. And I think that's the reason why a lot of these personalities, like TV or movie people, all also have uh, um, following, or I, from what I understand, a lot of the times now when they are chosen for projects and stuff like that, that if they have like a bigger social media following, that they are more valuable as actors in these kinds of projects. And I thought that says a lot, right?
hmm
And I think like YouTube and other social media has an ability to be able to um, I don't know, connect with people in these like more specific and personalized kind of ways. So and that was a big rant for like something
Yeah.
about the YouTube, but I believe hugely in YouTube because I didn't see a lot of people that look like me on TV and in movies growing up, and the kind of content that I wanted to watch I didn't really see on TV or movies. So when I discovered YouTube and realized that there are people who look like me, who have like similar interests as me, making content that are that are meaningful for me, I get to choose them, and because they chose themselves to be able to do it
hmm
themselves. So I think I have very strong feelings about that. um, We have Nina. Hi, Vito. This is Nina, and I'm on Jim's YouTube account. Happy birthday. Well,
Hi,
thank you,
Nina.
Nina. Nina's so great. Like she's always so generous and so kind and so supportive of me over on Twitter. And in fact, over on Twitter, there are just so many people who just didn't. I mean, Twitter can be a cesspool. I mean, let's face it. Like if you choose to go into the swamp, you can get stuck,
Mm-hmm.
and it can kind of like drag you down. But if you're, I think, careful, and and you curate and you try to you do your best to be your best. I think that other people who are just incredibly good people also show up, and I feel like um, the last 2 years of my life, especially, has been um, just the litmus test of knowing that there are remarkably good people in the world, and that they may never meet you in person, they may never actually even speak to you like face to face, but that they're there, and the kindness and their generosity and their care just shines through, and Nina's one of them. So thank you so much for helping to celebrate my birthday today, Nina. And Kyle was saying, "Whoa, it's hard. This is a hard one to read." Oh, we'll have on noted comic book artists and writers, including my friend Hilary Barta of Plastic Man and SpongeBob fame, helping launch the first show Wednesday the 12th at 2 to 4 from EST. Wow, that's
It's great.
amazing. That's wonderful.
And there was another little bit.
Yeah, my co-host is in London, England, so it's like a
Yeah.
multi continental thing that you'll be doing. That's really really amazing. Chris Vernon, thank you. Hearts to you too. Thank you so much. I just and Chris is also one of the folks over on Twitter who's just been so been there and been so supportive and kind. And I saw some tweets today that he sent out that so thankful for. So thank you so much. Yeah, it's been an incredible birthday so far, I tell you. And you know I tried the whole um Ryan Reynolds thing again because I just felt like, as much as it meant to me that he had sent a message to me last year, it meant a lot to me. It meant a huge lot to me. And I, it would also mean an incredible amount to me. I didn't think it was, probably like kind of limped into it, to be honest with you. I probably didn't kind of like leap or like push right into it as much as maybe I could have
Mm.
today. Because I don't know, like how do you make that kind of thing possible? But the thing that I was thinking about more than anything else from last year is how much I really appreciated um, Ryan Reynolds like sending me the message that he did, and he's honestly like um, just there were also a couple of back and forths that I had with him um, on Twitter DM. Just incredible. Like he is not another good guy, like a good guy. And just having had that experience with him last year, just remarkable. Um, and the thing though that I had to take the biggest takeaway though from last year and having that experience was how much it also impacted everyone that was involved. And I think that like everyone involved like felt like, oh, like we got this done together, like we did it together, and I think like um my mentor actually mentioned this to me this past week or a couple weeks ago, and she was saying to me, she was saying, like there's something about togetherness for you. There's something about having people being together and being part of something. And it's true, you know, like the fact that like whether it's like a baseball game and whether it's, you know, being on Twitter and being a part of that community, even having this live stream today and having all you
Mhm.
wonderful folks like show up for us today, it's just, you know, for me, like I I just feel like, you know, you can be doing anything else with your time today. You know what I mean? But you have generously come online with us today to spend some of your time with us today to celebrate, help me celebrate. So
Mhm.
like you have no idea how much it means to me and how much I appreciate it.
Mhm.
And I was hoping for a repeat with you know, maybe getting like Ryan to send a message, but
Oh, you never know. He
I
might.
he might,
Maybe
but
he's sleeping. He's in another time zone.
he's
We don't
sleep.
know.
Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's
Oh no,
taking the day
it
to
could be.
sleep.
Maybe he's on a movie or something working. We don't
We don't
know.
know. No, no, for sure. And regardless, I feel like the reason why I decided to do it again was because I just wanted to have like this experience, you know, together. And because it was just such a remarkable thing to experience last year. But that said, I've, you know, just of all like the birthday greetings I've got over on Twitter with all of you folks just joining us today and being a part of this live stream is something for me that that I don't take for granted. So thank you
Hmm.
so much. It means so much. Um, Chris Vernon says, "You both are awesome."
Thank you.
Thank you. Love seeing the smiles. I'll be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot of smiles
Yeah, yeah. It's
in
been
the last
very.
couple of months, man. Holy moly. I mean, um, you know, one of the things thought maybe I'll go over the comments that have been coming in because we're thankful for those too. Love seeing the smiles. Thank you again. Cheryl's is like, I love the happy tears. Oh my gosh! Like last year when I saw that that message from Ryan, I was just like, oh, that actually happened. That's so crazy. Yeah, I was super happy, and I'm an easy cry though, so but definitely it, it was very meaningful for me. Um, Canada loves you back. I don't know about the whole of Canada,
Mhm.
but I think some folks are have been very lovely to me for
Mhm.
sure. I based around the celebration. Oh, thank you so much. I wonder what you might have had to navigate around or move around in order to join us today, Kyle. Hopefully not too much. Kathy says it always feels good being in your presence. Oh, miss you so much. It's always good to see Kathy.
Mhm.
I always get so happy. See, easy cry. It doesn't take much for me to start crying. Mm. Such I've been so fortunate to have such good people in my life, and Kathy is like one of those people in my life. So, Kathy, thank you so much. Um, we can open presents.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm first gonna open. Speaking of good folks. This is actually from Cheryl. Thank you so much for sending this over. I hope, Cheryl, that it's okay that we're opening it while I'm doing it, unless I I see
Yeah. Leave a
a
comment down below.
comment telling
Don't
me
do it.
don't do it. I'll slowly slowly go about doing this. Let's see here. Oh, there's a box. There's a box within a within an envelope. I'm still. Oh, okay. So Cheryl says it's okay. So I'm on the go here. I got the go. I got the green light. So I see this package. What's exciting? This is like a
Yeah. U.S.
proper
Post.
post mailbox
I don't think we have boxes that small at
in
Canada
Canada
Post.
Post.
They probably charge you $10 just for the box.
Yeah, it is a nice box.
Yeah,
for sure.
it is nice. Oh, look at that.
Happy birthday, Mia! Okay, first, this is the first thing that I see. It's a Ziploc bag that says "Happy Birthday, Mio." No, I didn't. Cheryl just had a comment saying, "Hope you didn't have to pay customs." I did not. So, thank you very much. It arrived.
Oh wow! Look at
Oh
those.
my god. Okay, first of all, I'm going to open. Tears fest. That's gonna happen here. Oof. Oh, and this is like Cheryl all the time on Twitter gives me Mondo squishy hugs. Oh, thank you so much. It says, Mio, may your birthday bring as much happiness as you give those who know you. Love, Cheryl and Stan. Thank you so much.
Oh, so nice the printing. Wow.
Oh, she's so talented. And I know that Cheryl makes these cards, which is incredible.
I know, that's crazy.
Is it okay for me to read this letter, Cheryl? I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you to let me know if it's okay for me to read the letter.
Oh wow! I don't know if you can see it, but that almost looks like it's stitched. There's like a stitch line.
It's remarkable.
I can't get it quite right, but that's amazing. See?
It's beautiful. Cheryl's work. So Cheryl has sent us some cards that I'm sure is her handiwork. Yes, handmade by Cheryl. And look how beautiful. Oh. I feel you are here. So this is one set here. You're here.
Wow! Look at the texture.
Look at the detailing. Wow. And the yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Oh, her work is so beautiful. And I got the okay to read the letter that Cheryl sent me. It says, Mio, happy birthday. Had to send Mondo hugs. Made some cards I thought you might be able to use. Half are for friends, family, half for nurses and doctors. Oh, that thank you so much because okay, I'll just half for nurses and doctors. That's incredible. I've included some protective cardstock meant to be placed in the face of the card. Makes it easier to skip in the envelope and protect the card front in the mail. Think about you every day. Hope you're able to enjoy your favorite things on your birthday. Love, Cheryl and Stan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Those are beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah, and I think these are the ones that are for the healthcare folks.
They're gonna love those.
Yeah, and it's fantastic because we just actually got. Oh, let me take it out of the sleeve. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Because some of you may know that I had my 2-year diagnosis anniversary a couple of weeks ago, and when I went to the hospital last, which was a couple of weeks ago, I go back tomorrow for my blood work for my next set of chemo. So this is a set for that. It's beautiful. When I went, it was right before my diagnosis anniversary, and when I went, none of my team were actually there. There were folks that I hadn't there's a couple of folks that I knew, but everyone else was like residents and fellows I had never met before. So I was just like, okay, well, it's strange to be celebrating a second diagnosis anniversary with folks I've never seen before. So I had some gifts that I'm going to be just some little treat, like Japanese Kit Kat treats that will be taking to the hospital tomorrow. So these cards will actually be I'll be able to beautiful. Yeah, Yeah. So thank you so much, Cheryl.
You are a superhero in scrubs, which is very true.
Yeah, these folks.
Wow, what an amazing card.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Beautiful. Cheryl, thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. Wow. And yeah, and I'm sure I'm gonna have to. Oh, they'll know from the, I think, from the back of the card that it says it's handmade by you, because hopefully, yeah, like they'll see the beautiful cards but not attribute it to me. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. These, so appreciated. Oh my god, they're so beautiful.
Let's see. I didn't see this one.
Yeah, you did see that one. No.
No, I saw that.
Oh, okay. But no, this is the one. This is the same one here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you. Wow, those are great.
There's a couple of comments that had come in while we were opening the cards, spending the evening with my YouTube family. Hey, Kathy, of course. And as Cheryl was saying, hope you didn't have to pay customs, and thankfully, you know, it was fine. Just it showed up at our door, and thank you for your permission and allowing me to open that in front of folks. And I'm glad to be able to share how beautiful your work is with everybody, because they are. It is. They're so, so beautiful. Um, and so very happy you like them. Yes. And again, like timing worked, because I'll be seeing my oncology team tomorrow, and yeah, that's great. Just, you know, there's and I'm sure maybe Cheryl, and I think like everybody like who have been so supportive of me, who like we, you know, kind of jive with one another, because I think that there's something about giving that really speaks to us, you know, that it's one thing to receive, it's remarkable to receive, and to get such a, you know, a package full of like beautiful things is, you know, incredible. But to be able to give and to have people enjoy, um, whatever it might be, you know, whether it's just like a nice word or just a nice sentiment or beautiful cards or maybe a Kit Kat or whatever it might be. Just giving does have its, yeah, it's incredible. Oh my goodness, kind of overwhelmed. I'm very, very, very happy. And Kathy's gift also showed up, and so I'm really excited to open that. And we have purple. Open that. Feels boxy. Oh, something vacuum packed. Oh my god, if it is a onesie, because I was the other day saying how a onesie would be a perfect thing. But look at this, how vacuum packed this thing is.
Wow.
So we all get to experience the fun of opening something that's vacuum packed.
I hear the air.
Yeah. And having it. Oh, I think these are, you know what? Sometimes I get alpacas and llamas mixed up. I think These are alpacas or llamas.
Mm.
Are they
Oh,
alpacas or
cute,
llamas? Oh, how cute is this? How cute is
yeah.
this?
Super soft too.
Oh my god, it's so cute.
Comfortable.
Oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. If it's a onesie, I swear to god, I'm gonna freak out. It is like an anorak. Remember anoraks? Did you ever wear anoraks in high school? Do you remember anoraks? Anyway, okay, this is like the cutest thing ever. Oh my god. Okay, I don't know.
It's got a hood.
Yeah, super cute. Okay.
Gonna put it on.
Yes. Here I am.
You know, because sometimes you say, "Oh, it's cold. I feel cold."
Yeah.
The chemo. So
I think in the last little while, what's happened is that it's not just the chemo. I haven't been eating super great. So I think that I've like been losing energy, and as a result of that, like I get cold. I get cold very very quickly, and but this thing here, okay, it's the cutest thing ever. Cutest thing ever. Thank you, Kathy. She's also the one that got me this.
mm-hmm.
Woo! Thank you so much. It is so cute. It is really warm. My goodness. And Kathy says that they are alpacas. I get them mixed up. Hello, Tanja. Thank you so much for your birthday wishes. Thank you. I hope you're taking care. And Kathy's, it is a big cozy hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. It is nice and cozy. And I have the pouches.
It's got a pouch
has
too.
pouches. My goodness.
You could put a cat in there or something.
I don't know about a cat. It would definitely catch whatever I might lose into this. Oh, but it's hot. I'm gonna have to take it off. I thought maybe I could keep it on for the duration of this, but this is gonna be for some of the cooler weather coming at us in the next little while, or maybe even, I mean, I can probably even wear it to chemo. Oh no, the neckline isn't big enough, but oh, I love it. I love it, Kathy. Thank you so much. Lucky. Lucky. So happy. It is. It is so cozy. I know about that. Cheryl says it's snuggly. Oh my god, it is so nice and snuggly. There's been a couple of times where I've been like, a little cold, even in the last little while. Like it's been like, I mean, in Canada we're very like, and especially where we are, we're thankful that we have like 4 seasons. So we're definitely into fall at this point.
Yeah.
And thankful that we actually get to experience fall, and it's been the chills kind of come in, and so I love autumn though because I'm an autumn baby. But when I get cold, it can sometimes get very uncomfortable. So happy. Hal says the meeting birthday girl. We have someone, hi, 12397. Happy birthday, Mio.
Hi.
Thank you very much. And we have the same hi, 12397 saying hi, Joe.
Hi. 12397.
Oh, it's like saying hi, 12397. Thank you so much for dropping by. Yeah, wow, that was so I'm so like thankful for all this stuff. So amazing. This is Nina. It looks wonderful and cozy on you. Oh, it was so comfortable and so cozy. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, this is really warm. And I think a little bit it has to do with like the fact that there's some adrenaline running since we're on the live stream. But I love snuggly things. So I'm thankful for that and then the beautiful cards that Cheryl had sent. So I'm thank you. So yeah, so kind of actually totally blown away by um, to just what's happening today. And there's a part of I think both of like Joe and I that's our attention is kind of drawn to a cat that's probably trying to hop up and wanting to be a part of the live stream. And if she does, you will see her in a moment. Just kind of creating a path for her to maybe be able to do that. But I don't know if people are interested in like what's been going on with me in the last few months. I mean, kind of been talking about it. Here comes potentially the cat, maybe. Oh, kind of. Oh, there it goes.
It's a tail.
There's a tail. That's Kudo. That's Kudo.
I think they're hungry. So
oh, that could definitely be it.
may have to get up and feed them.
Usually, though, the thing about Kudo is a cat that just went by. She likes to know what's going on if we're talking. So I've had whenever I'm on like a screen thing or whatever with people, Kudo always likes to come and hang out because she likes to see like what's been going on. So you'll probably see her go back and forth. So here is Kyle saying, loving snuggly things. Guess that tells us a lot about Joe. He's definitely loving and snuggly. That's for sure. Happy birthday to my sister Lamiola from Donna. Oh,
Hi, Donna.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for birthday wishes. I hope you're taking good care, and it's so good to have you join us today. So thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I'm so excited because all these people have come to help us celebrate today. So that's really cool. So like I had just mentioned, if I don't know, like if people are interested in kind of like hearing about like what's been going on the last few months. For me, I know that specifically like my YouTube has been uploads have been brutal, just because I have like I think about 2.5 months ago, right before I started this new treatment, like probably a couple of weeks before I started this new treatment that I'm on now, which I'll talk a little bit about, I started feeling nauseous and not being able to eat. Not at first, not very much. I wasn't able to eat, and at this point now, it's not a lot of solid foods. The thing that I was talking to my mom today about was I think that meat seems to be a difficult thing for me to be able to digest. But seafood so far seems to be okay with some rice and things like that. But outside of that, it's like shakes and just soups and peaches and a
little bit of cereal.
Like soaked in cereal. But I've lost actually quite a bit of weight in the last 2.5 months or so, 3 months or so. And I think along with that, okay, I'll be honest, I am, this is so contradictory in some ways, but I think that it's sort of like true of like what kind of like how society is that I'm happy to have been able to drop some of the weight that I had gained since like starting different treatments and things like that. Like last year around this time, I was uncomfortably um, heavier than I was had been in a while, and so dropping some weight has actually been something that felt good for me. But on the flip side of that, it also means that I haven't had a lot of like literal energy to kind of keep me going, because I've actually like I mentioned, like I dropped a bunch of weight at the same time, and and I think starting a new treatment at the same time has been really hard. And so, oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. No, it's okay. You can stay down here. So, um, so I was saying it's yeah. So for about for the last number of months, I really haven't been able to eat properly, and that has that was the other cat. The dive bomb off of the she was standing and like looking out the deck doors, and then I think she slipped and fell. In fact, I don't know that we've had a live stream since we have Hazley.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, we have a new member of the household. Her name is Hazel.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call her Hazley, and she's a great cat. But she's not necessarily like a lap cat, like, so she doesn't really come close or anything like that. But she's around, and she has big eyes, and she bounces around, and she's a lot of fun. And Hazley's a super good cat, and right now, like, she did this really weird dive bomb off of the couch. Um, but yeah, so as I was saying, I know that it wasn't treatment related in terms of my digestion and my nausea, because it started happening before the new treatment started. And what happened around, there was a lot of different things that were going on at the same time. So there was this nausea that started, which meant that I wasn't eating that much, which means all of a sudden I was like lower energy and all of that. I was told that the treatment that I had been on for the last little while was no longer effective, so that the oncologist felt that there was a need to change treatments. And so that was introduced all of a sudden, but we weren't clear about like how the new like what the new treatment would be, and yeah, specifically what the new treatment would be, because um, the original third line treatment that the oncologist still want to be able to administer at some point, I guess, if this particular treatment that I'm on now doesn't work, is $3,000 per treatment, and that's something that we still aren't able to afford at this point. I think we have to have like $12,000 or $15,000 sort of available to be able to start, so that if um, it's per treatment, and they want to be able to make sure that if they're going to start it, that I'm able to afford it, and not able to. So there was a question about like what the next treatment would be, and and I had released a video about doing psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, and that was all happening at the same time. And not only that, I wanted to be able to share the information that for folks who are in my situation, that something like psychedelic assisted psychotherapy could potentially be something that can help with end of life anxieties, um, in distress, existential distress, like that kind of thing. And as a result of that, I let the clinic know that who I'm working with, for the psychedelic assisted therapy. And again, I want to be clear about that. I know a lot of people will have their own kind of feelings and opinions about it. But what I want to say is that it's not an endorsement for the use of psychedelics necessarily. It is, though, a belief that I have that it's a modality that is something that could be very helpful for certain types of folks going through a certain type of situation, with people who are knowledgeable and who are know how to do the process of that therapy and the protocols that are involved in it. And so there was a great Daily Beast article that was written about me, and my experience, and I'll actually link that also in the description just in case you're interested in checking it out, because I know that that's something that I haven't talked about on YouTube quite yet. But it was a really great article by Tony Holtran, who was a great journalist to work with, and he wrote I feel as though like a really great article that it reflected my experience. And the TV thing that I talked about earlier was kind of about that, or so, was going to be about that, but it ended up being like this really weird mishmash of stuff. But anyway, um, all that to say that as I was feeling nauseous, not eating, um, low energy, didn't know what treatment I was going to be getting next, and then on top of that, I was doing um, the psychedelic assisted therapy, and also doing media for that at the same time. So there was a lot that was going on, and I was just exhausted. I've been exhausted. And it's probably today is probably like literally the first day that I've woken up in the last 2 or 3 months where I thought, oh, I feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so thankful for that. For like at the very least, like my birthday, the fact that I woke up feeling like, oh, I'm all right today is something I will never take for granted and I'll always remember actually about this birthday. But that said, the treatment that I ended up, I'm on currently, is a trial, and it's called Bold 100. So, very short kind of description of it from what I understand is that Bold 100 is not a chemotherapy itself, but what it is that it's supposed to help. Okay, what Bold 100 does is it's a chemical, it's a drug that targets a certain protein within the cancer cell, that tends to be higher in cancer cells. And when there is when that particular protein is lowered within that cancer cell becomes more receptive to chemotherapy. And also, Bold 100 is supposed to help oxygenate the body more, which also creates a um, less less inhabitable um, environment within the body for like cancer cells. So the idea is that we do the Bold 100, we do an infusion of the Bold 100, and then we hit it with chemo on top of that. And so far, it's been kind of brutal. And again, I I attribute it to the fact that I've just been low energy. I haven't been taking in enough energy to be able to sustain some of the
Treatments.
yeah, like some of the intensity or some of the crappiness of the treatment. I think that you need a lot of like internal energy to be able to combat the fact that like every couple of weeks like you're being carpet bombed with like these incredible chemicals. And so it's been very challenging the last few months because I felt so weakened. And I've never, I used to feel like I got tired. And it's almost like the idea of like fatigue and tiredness. You may, and each of us have our own different experiences. I understand. But there's a certain kind of tiredness and fatigue that comes with, I think, chronic illness, terminal illness, cancer, whatever, that is on a different level with treatments and cancer and everything else that goes with it than anything I've ever experienced in my entire life up until this point. The fatigue is like nothing I could ever have imagined. It's so incredibly tiring. And just sometimes the negotiations that I have to do within my head to be like, okay, well, for me to move to the couch to the bathroom, I'm going to need probably about like 15 or 20 minutes to just kind of psych myself to be able to do it. And then if I want to go get a drink of water from the fridge after that, like, all these different things
you
that I have
take it for granted, and it takes a lot just to do that.
Yeah.
To get something down from a shelf, or opening up packaging, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Even yesterday as we were making dinner, like I was just like, wow, like I was like shaking in a way that I don't, it's not familiar to how I operate. And it's sometimes, it's tough, and it's a bit scary because it's, kind of, I will say that it's not like a full, like, my experience is one where it is up and down, but it could be tough sometimes, and it has been tough the last 3 months, to be honest with you, completely tough. And what I will say is that Joe has been awesome throughout this. He has been awesome throughout this because he hasn't lost patience with me. He's never lost his kindness with me. There are times when he is called and like he's at work, he's at his store, and I would just be like randomly crying because I'm so sad and tired and feeling like, not the person that I know myself to be, or whatever it might be. And Joe's just been there for me this entire time. He's been really, really awesome. So there isn't a way that I can thank you enough for like just being always, and the cat's here too. Yes, Kudo. She actually has been there for me too.
Yeah.
She's the one that's obsessed with. But
she's been sitting on your lap.
I know. It's like she knows.
Being your buddy.
I have, but I have my suspicions. I feel like it's all her that's kind of pulling the strings. I think so. She wants you all to herself, and she knocked out a couple of cats.
No.
I feel like, and
I actually think she's a little bit lonely because Hazel, the new cat, they don't really get along that great. I mean, it's not like she can go up and cuddle with her. Once in a while, you may see them licking each other, but it's like for a while there, she was swatting her. Really, she got too close.
I mean,
Hazel would swat her. And I mean, Hazel's 3 years old, and Kudo is
12.
12, well, probably more like 13.
Well, Hazel's more like 5.
Right.
Hazel's more like 5, and Kudo is like 12 or 13.
Right.
I think that Kudo has been angry because she hasn't been able to bully Hazel, because we had a little cat named Sagi, Sega, who was just bullied.
Mm-hmm.
She was bullied by Kuro. Poor thing. And so she's had sort of the run of the roost, you know, with the other cats and up to this point. And now that, you know, she's not always the sort of the super alpha, I think that's like what's been going on with her.
Maybe.
She's like, uh-oh, I need to align myself here with some other beings. But you know, I joke about it, but you know, I'm actually super grateful for the family that we have, and Hazel, that she actually will sit with me.
Sorry, I just see something here.
Sometimes during the day and things. Oh, that's like a claw.
Yeah, that's a cat claw.
Yeah.
Wow, whole thing.
No, you don't need to.
No. Do you want to see it? Take a look. It's like a shark's tooth.
Thank you. We'll go back to the comments. Kyle is saying, we celebrate you every day, dear princess. Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you. Will your mommy making a phone appearance tonight? No. I had a long conversation with her earlier, and she will not be joining us, but she is well, and taking care and keeping busy for the time being. Thank you. Kyle says, my bladder cancer has cleared enough for me to only have to see the doctor annually for that. As for the prostate cancer, that's still multi-visits and tests per year. Yeah. Hospital stuff. Oh, we have, seeing stuff here. All the comments are coming in. Chris says, high fives to Joe.
Thank you.
And loves to Joe. And thank you, Kyle. And happy birthday. Me. Thanks, Catherine. Oh, I'm so glad you're able to join us, Catherine. How are you doing? Please let us know. And Cheryl says hugs to Joe.
Thank you.
Hugs. Chris says, gotta go. Maybe he's already left. If you have, if you're still here, thank you so much for joining us today and spending some time with us. Thank you, Chris. And again, like all the kindness that you all, on Twitter. Thank you so much. Kat says, I live with a cat trauma. Isn't that funny, right? Like cats, like they're such independent little creatures. These things, they have their own unique little personalities. They're doing their own thing, and it's like, you know, sometimes I watch them, especially since, you know, with my situation, I'm home quite a bit, and I'm like, what makes you consider like doing that right now? Like, why would you just get up and do that right now? Why would you do that? But you know, I'm sure they have their own reasoning, their own kind of logic for doing what they do. Would love to know what goes on in their heads, but often I do say that, you know, they're walnut size brains. You know, who knows what's going on in there, but it's walnut sized, so probably not a whole. You know, says, thank you, Joe, for taking care of me.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And Catherine is saying, Catherine says, just got in from treatment and told the driver to put the pedal to the metal. I have a birthday to celebrate. Aww, that's so sweet. I hope you're taking care, Catherine. Yeah, and enjoying also the Blue Jays as we are. I know you and your family are big into the Blue Jays as we are. So yeah, and yeah. Thank you for joining us. It's so, yeah. it's tough, and I have treatment in a couple days,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean, I
So you
kind
have
of,
blood work tomorrow, and
yeah, the oncology folks appointments and all that kind of stuff.
chemo on Thursday,
Chemo on Thursday.
and then you have to go back on Friday for some more blood work.
Yeah, and
And then
then
on Saturday, the bottle gets removed.
yeah, so I have so the kind of chemo that I get is well, the full fox. I get the Bold 100 plus the full fox, and there is a bottle that I'm connected to for like 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
and it's strange because I think of like chemo as being on Thursday, but really like it, like I have this pump, so it gets administered over 3 days, so it's really actually like a 3-day treatment process,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, not fun. So I'm just about to go back into that cycle again. But and like I feel like I'm very lucky this year to have for my birthday to have landed like right before treatment,
Mm-hmm.
because again, like I woke up this morning feeling like decent, and I'm so thankful for that. So Catherine is saying, "Yay, Blue Jays! Great picture of you at the game." Yeah, we had a really good
Mm-hmm.
time at the game, and on Sunday, and we were talking earlier about how people were sending us screenshots of us on TV,
Mm-hmm.
which was a lot of fun. So that was
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
mhm, really really great seats we were
Mm-hmm.
gifted, and again, like thankful to have had that opportunity to be able to experience the Blue Jays game like that. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got to see my guy Jorge, who's like George Springer,
Mm-hmm.
super close.
Yeah. Yeah, we also saw Getty Lee from
Yeah,
Rush.
I
He
got a
was a few
picture of
seats
getting.
over.
Yeah.
And then actually, he was on the field after the game with his kid or grandson or
Mm.
whatever. So it's cool to see him up close and not too far away from the home plate lady and all that.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to see Getty's face. I mean, he like really
Yeah, he's
kind
got
of goes incognito.
sunglasses and a base like a hat down, and you see him on TV once in a while. Not so much this season. You notice him sometimes. He's keeping score of the game, like
So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Geddy Lee
from
is
Rush.
the lead singer of Rush, and he's a huge baseball fan, not just a big Blue Jays fan, huge
Yeah.
baseball fan. And he has seasons tickets, he and his brother, in the Super Primo seats where the Jays play at the Dome. And he hasn't been there the last couple of years because I think that he was very like COVID, very
Mm-hmm.
specific, like wanting to kind of keep safe from that. And so the fact that he was actually at that game, I think might have been the first game that he's been to
In a while,
in like a year and a half, maybe
yeah,
2 years or
maybe.
something like that. So to see him there and to actually, sorry to keep fidgeting with my nose, to see him, to see Geddy Lee so up close. Cause I'll do a Joe. I'll do a show and tell. I'll do a show and tell. I will show you a picture of Geddy Lee really super up close. Oh, unless I got rid of them. Nope. So, this, you can see Geddy Lee.
Yeah, so he's there.
Yeah. I don't know if any, any of you are that's impressive to anybody, but we were like, hey, it's Geddy Lee. So that was fun. And just being able to see him there
Mm-hmm.
and to have that experience just completely was another kind of bit more of icing on the cake.
Yeah, what was cool too was we saw the guy, the MLB employee who brings out the rosin bags for the pitchers. He was standing there, and it was cool because they were all sealed up in this official bag,
Yeah.
MLB bag, and you would have like who would have thought that MLB brings these rosin bags for the pitchers, but I guess so because they could be putting some stuff in there. They brought their own, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to speed up the ball. But so that was kind of a cool thing to see.
Yeah, it was. We saw a lot of different things that we didn't,
You
you know,
normally don't
yeah, that you
see
don't
or
see sort
see
of
on
like,
TV
yeah, like behind the curtains
or
kind of
even
stuff.
at the stadium too, like looking in the dugouts and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
I found that watching the guy, the I don't even know if he was the ball boy,
Mm,
but he had a lot of responsibilities. The guy who was like sitting like right by the thing, like he had to keep an eye on the ump because he would call for balls and he would like
right.
throw the balls over,
Yeah.
and then if there were like stray balls, he would have to go
Hmm.
get them, and he would have the mitts that people like when they were on the bases, they run with like these mitts, some
Yeah.
of them,
Hmm.
and so if there was a guy up at bat, he would have one of those mitts in his back pocket so that if they got to
Hmm.
the base, he would run out and give them. I mean, there was a lot that this guy was doing.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, like that's pretty incredible. Like it's a lot of work that you're doing. And he was just always constantly on. And also, when there were kids who were looking to get balls and things like that, he would be
Give
able to
them a
give
ball
them a ball.
around
Not like,
the
yeah,
netting.
not
Yeah.
every kid that came up or anything like that, but there's just a lot that this guy was handling. I'm like, Jesus, this job is pretty
Yeah, yeah,
stressful.
demanding, yeah, for
So
sure.
he's just on like for like 4 hours.
Yeah, he's
Just,
not like on his phone or
he
something. Like,
can't like
there's no
there's
way.
no
Like,
way he would have been able to do that. So
yeah, so
Catherine's saying, also amazing article written on your treatments you were doing. I shared it with so many people. I'm so damn proud of it. Oh, thank you so much. So this is the Daily Beast, I think, article, Catherine, that you're talking about, that was written in regards to this, the psychedelic therapy that I've been doing. And it's true. I'm very thankful to Tony, who wrote that article with the Daily Beast. He's awesome. He's an awesome guy. He wrote an awesome article, and I'm thankful to have been able to be a part of it. Excuse me, and also to again like um, to have people. Do you want to bring Hazley over?
just for the shore.
Hazley.
There she is.
Hazley. She's like, let me go. Let me go. Cutie.
So I can feed her.
Cuties.
Come on.
So Joe's feeding the cats now.
Yeah, they're going crazy.
Well, Hazley's going crazy. Kudo's just like sitting on a bag. But one of the things that was really important for me in experiencing the psychedelic assisted psychotherapy was to be able to let as many people know as possible that if they're in a situation where there is a level of distress or existential dread or end of life anxieties, like any of those kinds of situations, and potentially for other situations as well, that this is an option that's possible. Like right now, it's especially in Canada, and I think also in the States, that it is a challenging thing to still go ahead and experience, but it's possible to experience. And I have been able to do so with the help of a lot of people, actually. And so to be able to share this, the fact that this modality is out there, this possibilities, and that it's that it's possible, that it's an option, that it's not necessarily going to be for everybody, and that's okay, but there's still options. And I just wanted to be able to share that, and I think Tony did a really good job of writing that article, and I think that is the one that you're talking about, Catherine. If not, please let me know, because there's a couple of other ones, but I don't think they're as comprehensive as the one from the Daily Beast. So I'm thinking that is for Getty Lee. It was really really cool to see Geddy Lee at the game on the other day. So yeah. So what just happened? What just happened? Okay. Hopefully you can still hear and see me. Okay. Um, Catherine says, can you talk about your experience? Yes, that is the article. Catherine, did you want to ask me specific questions about the experience? Because it's yeah, it's a little bit challenging. Oh, really? But if you can, yeah, if you have specific questions, or even anybody else out there who has who's online right now who has specific questions about the psychedelic assisted therapy, I'd be more than happy to answer them, whatever I can from my perspective, my experience. I would love to be able to address that. Kathy's like, yes, this is amazing. Thank you. And Joe is back, so I'm gonna move over a bit.
Ooh, sorry.
So, so Catherine says, did it help your anxiety? So, so far, I've okay. So I'm gonna back up for a second. The clinic that I'm working with is called Field Trip Health, and there is some incredible folks there that help navigate, apply, and get approval for me to be able to experience the psychedelic assisted therapy. So psilocybin is considered to be an illegal substance, but you can get an exemption from Health Canada through a physician who can to submit an application to Health Canada to give an exemption. I already said that twice. And so for me, with Dr. Vervora at Field Trip Health, who's amazing, he's awesome, and he applied on my behalf and got approval for three sessions of psilocybin. The article that was written for the Daily Beast really only talked about my first experience, because that's when I was interviewed after my first experience. And the second experience was actually filmed by the TV crew, the broadcast crew, but no one actually interviewed me. So the TV crew didn't interview me about my experience about the second session afterwards, which was this, again, like a strange, I guess, decision that they made. But anyway, the one thing they didn't get to talk about was the second session. So I've had two so far.
Mm-hmm.
So the first session was very interesting because I didn't realize how physical it would be. Like, I just, I've watched a lot of documentaries and a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of different things that I have researched online about people's experiences with psilocybin assisted psychotherapy. And I had thought that it was going to be a very much like an inner experience. But what ended up happening was it was almost as though I've kind of said this in like so many words, but it was all like my nerves were like lit up. It just felt like every nerve in my body was lit up, and I had to just move around. And it was such such a fascinating experience to have had, because I was trying to have an inner experience. My intention was to go in and to have an inner experience, to to do have an experience around anxiety and distress and dread and those things. And yet, like, the experience I had for the first experience, anyway, for the first journey that I had, was very physical. So it was just everything in me just had to like move around or get grounded or something. So for like 2 hours, we were just like doing yoga and like moving around. And by we, like myself and Dr. Vivora, who was there with me, he was like, you know, the guided person who was working with me. And he was just like right there with me. Like I'm just like wanting to move around and different things like that. And like what I realized during that first experience was that I just have like this.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I thought there was something falling there.
That there was a strange, that I have a strange experience, strange relationship with my body, in that I'm going through this very physical experience with the diagnosis that I have, and I my relationship with my body is very fractured in a lot of ways and uncomfortable. And that journey, the first journey, was a very good um like I don't know, like a wake up call or something like that, to say, hey, like you need to have a better relationship with your body. Like you need to um understand your body better, or to have a different feeling about your body, or just to have um yeah, just like something where you're feeling more connected, that you have a better relationship. It's like having any other like relationship in your life, right? Like sometimes you have, you know, people in your life that are there, that you love, but like maybe you don't have like the best relationship with them. And it's sort of like that with my body, right? Like um I love my body because it's helping me be here, like to have a life, but yet I don't know what my body is doing. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I don't know, you know, a lot of different things, right? And so that first journey for me was like really big from the standpoint of, hey, like this is something that is worth your attention, is to just be more connected and in tune with your physical self, what's going on with your physical body. So that was the first one. And so it kind of took me by surprise, because it's not necessarily what um I was thinking that I would experience. So it was kind of like, oh, okay, like this is different. But also very, very valuable. I found it to be very valuable. And also, there's some other stuff in there too that came out, like around um, you know, like that a lot of us, we live our lives with kind of like our riding the brakes. You know, we don't allow ourselves necessarily to be all of ourselves that we can be. We just kind of like, you know, like maybe play it small, and we try to, you know, make sure that like things are kind of like copacetic and like contained and everybody's okay, and you know, all this kind of stuff. But we don't necessarily just allow ourselves to be like the full selves that we can be, and just to go out and like live life in the biggest way possible. And that was one of the things that also came out of that first journey as well, is around like, hey, you know, have a better relationship with your body, and on in addition to that, live life, and just go out and like, you know, what would this world be like if all of us lived up to like the fullest potential that we have, or allowed ourselves to, you know, to be and live in our biggest selves, you know, in our best selves. Like what would that look like, and what would the world look like if we all lived that way, or approach life that way. So those are like the two big things that came out of the first journey. The second journey that I had was much more about the anxiety piece, which was really incredibly helpful. And again, like this time around, like learning from the first one, I think that because the that experience of like having the first journey be so physical, I was kind of, I realized that I was also afraid to ask for help. There I think a handful of people in my life where I completely trust that they'll be there for me. But I wasn't like, with being in the clinic and having this experience and all that kind of stuff. And Dr. Vervora, whom I worked with, and made like seriously amazing. There isn't anything that he has done or could have done for me to have felt any other way at that point. It's just that I also have like some trust stuff that I realize, and it's difficult for me to ask for help. So um, I talked about that with Dr. Vervora afterwards, because that's part of the therapy, is to integrate the experience of having had all these things come up, and like have as part of what's going on. The integration piece is talking about it and saying, okay, well, what could be different the next time, and what do you think might help to have a different kind of an experience? Not that it was a bad experience, but it was a different kind of an experience that I was expecting, and that's what happens. That's the other thing too. Like, you can't necessarily control that, but I think it was a necessary experience, and I learned a lot from it. And then the second time going in, I um, Dr. Verora and I spoke ahead of time before the therapy as well, because that's part of the protocol, is like before there is talking about like what's going on and the intention, and how the guide or the doctor or whomever is there for you is going to be able to support you, and if there are ways in which like like any trepidation or anything like that can be on my part. So we were able to talk through all of that, and I said to him, like, yeah, like, nothing on you whatsoever, but I'm not sure that I was able to ask for help the last time, and so this time I'm just getting ahead of myself, and I'm just letting you know that I think that I'll probably need help, and and I think and how I would like to have help is maybe just um, for us to be able to have some kind of hand holding, or for his hand to be on my shoulder just to stabilize, or whatever it is. So we talked about all of that beforehand. So touch was something that can be like a bit problematic when it comes to like medical situations and things like that, unfortunately. And I say that unfortunately because I think touch is such an important part of feeling human, and even and going through this kind of an experience too. Like, just I think being able to have touch is such an important part of these our journeys. And so to of course to make sure that it's done responsibly, especially if it's in a situation, in a medical situation, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so we talked about all of that, and then all this to say that the second journey I just had, the psilocybin assisted therapy, the second journey that I had was remarkable. Like, it was remarkable from addressing, or like really diving deep into the anxiety piece for me, because I came away from it feeling like I'm loved, and that I'm taken care of, and um, that the world, the universe, or whatever it is that is part of what we all are a part of, life. There are countless number of lives that have been taken care of before me. There'll be a countless number of lives that will be taken care of after me, and that regardless of like what my fears may be, that it's okay. It's taken care of. It's been taken care of. It will be taken care of. It will always be taken care of. And that was just remarkable. Like, it was just something where I feel like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know what's to come, and that's still scary. But I feel as though it's okay. And toward the end of that particular journey, I had this experience where sort of like my image of myself within this journey exploded, or yeah, exploded into like a million golden leaves of love.
Mm.
And it sounds kind of corny, but this is how like it, and I still like think about it, and it gives me so much joy, is that like we all have like so much love, you know, and that um yeah, like just in this during this journey, like I just exploded into like these million pieces of golden leaves that attached itself to this giant tree of life. And if you've ever been to Disney World, there is a tree of life
Mm.
at Animal Kingdom. And that's sort of like what I picture all these golden leaves to attach itself to. And there was just like this sense of like resting within the roots of this giant tree of life that felt like just so comforting, and so being at home, I guess. And I can say like from that perspective that it um yeah, the that anxiety, or that sort of that low level kind of sense of um like that fear or that stress is something that has transformed itself. It's been remarkable. And then again, like it had that experience, been able to have the integration by talking about it, and I have been very fortunate to have like, you know, wonderful people that I can talk to in my life to be able to help with that
Mm.
integration as well. And it's just been awesome. And I haven't really been able to talk about that second journey, and I haven't done it publicly because I've had another media interview actually since then, and I don't know how that one's gonna turn out. But if if that gets written and published in the next little while, I think it will involve the second journey as well. So I will also share that whenever that comes out. So I hope that helps, Catherine. I know that I was like rambling on for a bit there, but if you have any specific questions outside of that, I'd be more than happy to answer it. And again, for anyone else out there who has any question about either the psychedelic or anything else,
Mm.
please, you know, feel free to let me know. And Ifty's here. Happy birthday! Thank you so much, Ifty. It's already kind of late. That's
Usually.
okay. We decided to be here for a couple of hours at least. We're actually approaching a couple of hours mark, but maybe we'll go on for a little bit longer. And yeah, it's been a remarkable day so far, and I'm hoping that you had a really nice day too. Yeah. So yeah, so that's some of the experience. I don't know, like I know that I can kind of ramble on and on about that. So, and I see Joe kind of like fidgeting and sort of like, you're like, I don't care about your psychedelic experience.
Yippee! No. I'm just kidding. All right, hippie.
So that's yeah, so that's the
Mm-hmm.
experience. So outside of that, I don't know. Like, are there any other questions that anyone has for us, or any other comments? Be great. The one thing that I have been noticing with this latest treatment that I'm getting is the neuropathy. After the first session, it was all right. Like I just got sick after the first session, but this time around, I am experiencing the neuropathy.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of sucks. But like I said, I'm feeling pretty decently today compared to some other times
Yeah, no, for sure. I
in
mean,
the last 3 months. So
sometimes
super.
she's so worn out, so tired, not feeling well. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're feeling good on your birthday.
Yeah, me too. And I hope that it's more of a trend
Mm-hmm.
than than a one off. But I will always remember this birthday for the fact that it's like, oh, like I woke up and I was feeling okay today. Which is not something I've been feeling a lot of lately. So yeah, the one question, oh, Catherine is saying, this is so amazing, Mio. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing this journey. Is Joe able to have support as well? It's so hard on our caregivers. It's true. Um, I don't know how you feel about that. Because I know that there are resources that are available for caregivers. And I've mentioned them to you from time to time. Do you feel as though like there are certain resources that could be helpful?
Um, I honestly, I don't really, I just try to keep myself busy and I just try to help you as much as I can and stuff. And yeah, I mean, there's some days I feel sad and so forth, but, and I don't know, I just try to not ignore it, but shake it off, I guess, and
Mm,
kind of get hold of myself and say, well, I have to help you out and push forward. Sometimes I get kind of sad, and I just you know that might be something I should look into maybe later or something. But right now, I'm just focused on trying to help her and just be active as well. So
I think from my perspective, anyway, there are ways in which,
because sometimes she gets down,
yeah,
I try to pick her up and say, like no one knows what's gonna happen. Like you can live for 100 years. You never know.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
anything
true.
can happen.
Anything can happen. It's
They could
true.
they could find the cure for cancer. It's bubble gum and peanut butter like combined or something.
um, you know, I think that it's something that is very cognizant for me about how Joe is doing, and there are certainly times when I wonder about um, what resources would be helpful for you. I know that if you were to ever say to me, "Hey, like I would like to maybe get some support or some resources," that I hope
Mm.
that that.
Yeah, I talk to my friends too. I mean, that's a huge uh, support. Like one of my old friends came into town recently, about a month ago, and I haven't seen him in quite a few years just because of COVID and everything, can travel. So that meant a lot, and you know, even during COVID, um, he reached out to me, and um, we talked and stuff like that on
He's been
FaceTime, and
he's
I've had other friends too, like actually this summer, quite a few of my older friends kind of came into town, and I got to see them, and that's been really great and special. I have a friend who's a you know um, musician. He brought his wife and his kid. They just got back from, I think, Europe.
Italy, isn't it?
Um,
Or was it European?
well, they went to Boxtoon because his
Oh,
kids
okay.
into classical music. So they're like, you can tell they're like totally exhausted and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And you know, um, we got to go to lunch together. Which was great, and it was great seeing him. Yeah, so I mean that's been important too. So.
Yeah, I think that whenever it's been possible, and there are times when it's pretty intense with what's going on with me, but
Mm-hmm.
whenever it's possible, when Joe's able to take breaks or he's able to go out and like spend time with his friends, or even just have a night with like a couple of beers, where like it's interesting because we'll first kind of like gauge like how I'm doing and stuff like that, and then and then Joe can relax for the night, or just enjoy certain things that he enjoys for the night, or whatever it is. But I think that one of the things that I know I'm thankful for is some of the friends that, like Joe had just mentioned, who's reached out to him, and I know that it means a lot to Joe, and it means a lot to me too, to know that.
Well, even my friend, I just heard from the other day, Alex. He contacted me, and he was out in PEI, and they had the hurricane out there, and it got hit pretty hard. So he didn't have power for 5 days, and so you know um, getting to touch base with him was great too, and he got a new number and stuff like that. So it's good, right? So
Yeah. So I guess in response to your question, Catherine, like so far there hasn't been um, like specific official like resources and support that like Joe's tapped into quite yet. But there has been some remarkable support and care that he's been getting from his network and his family, and I'm thankful so much for that. And we had an opportunity earlier this year to go and to PI actually.
very very briefly, but
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So that and anyway, like there are ways in which we've been able to. Um, I do my best. I mean, I know from where I am, it's difficult to say, but to support Joe and what's going on for him, and we're it's a work in progress, I think, for all of us. Catherine does say, like, please know, Joe, I'm thinking about you every day. I've got supports in place for my caregiver, but sometimes the best thing for him is just going to his billiards game once a week and have a break. Yeah. And I think that's something that we've always found in our relationship, actually, is that if like Joe needs to go and like hang out with his friends, like go hang out with your friends. I don't need to come along or need to ask you like when you're going to be home and all that kind of stuff. Just go and like do what you need to do, because I think that's a really important part of being in a relationship, is just to be able to be our individual selves, and we've taken that into this particular journey, and I think we're kind of managing it okay so far. I mean, and hopefully again, like if there is anything that you need, that you'd be able to talk about it. Yeah.
But I mean, it's part of the thing too is like it's things we can do together as well. Like um, for example, and this is because you found it out that one of the things on Mio's bucket list was to see one of the Beatles, and Paul wasn't coming into town anytime soon. Like
and goodness, how
was
much
touring it was so expensive, but he was touring the U.S. And wasn't coming here, and somebody mentioned, oh, Ringo Starr is um, playing up north, so the tickets were affordable, and we went and did that, and it was a great fun show, and that was in April or something like that. May, I can't remember when, but recently you found out that he was in town at Massey Hall.
Ringo Starr was in town,
and it was only like $50, and
no, it wasn't only $50.
No, a little bit more.
It was more than it.
Okay, well, I mean, it was affordable. It was affordable.
It was doable.
It was doable. So, like, and that's something we did, and you had the walker and everything, and I know your energy was tough that day, but we made it through, and we we were up on the third balcony looking down, super close, and yeah, it's It's
Just
a
want
great
to
thing to
quickly,
share.
yeah, quickly to talk about that experience. So we saw Ringo Starr
Wednesday.
last Wednesday, at Massey Hall, which is a venue
Great
here
venue.
in Toronto,
Wow.
which is my favorite venue. And I actually wanted to, if we had a time to talk about people's live concert experiences, because it was so, going into the concert, I was in rough shape. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Joe has been very generous and not like talking about this, but I was in rough shape, like going into the concert, to the point where I'm like, maybe Joe should go alone. But I also wanted to see Ringo Starr too, because it's, to see a living Beatle is a big deal. And and at Massey Hall to boot, because Massey Hall is my favorite venue in all of Toronto, and potentially any venue I've ever been to. Not that I've been to in too many, but it's a beautiful older venue that has amazing acoustics, and it's just beautiful. Just, and they also just did renovations, and because of COVID, there's, like, live music
It
isn't
was shut
something,
down,
and all that kind of stuff. So having gone to that concert, I was struggling to get there, struggling before, struggling to get there. Once the music started, it was incredible and gave me all kinds of energy for the first hour or so. And then, like, toward the end, I was like, oh, okay, like, it was a bit rougher. But it just also reminded me of how incredible of an experience, like, live concerts are, and how, we might miss all of that, um as a result of, like, what's been happening with COVID and all that kind of stuff. And but it was a remarkable experience to have gone to Massey Hall. And I guess in terms of, like, self-care stuff, yeah, like, I still also want to be able to, as long as I can, have these experiences with Joe where we're both really enjoying, the experience. And having seen Ringo Starr earlier, a few months ago, but then to see him again at Massey Hall,
it was way better.
such a treat. Was
Yeah.
such a treat.
Yeah.
His
And we
entire
were,
band sounded incredible.
yeah, and we were looking right down. We're on the third level, third
We're on
balcony.
the third balcony, and
But to look right down and see him right there,
yeah,
where I think the other venue, he was like, we were in the very back row, and he was like about that big,
and we were able to see him, like,
on the
at his,
screen and stuff.
well, we were able.
Yeah.
There wasn't a screen
No, at the first venue.
at the first venue. Oh, okay. And yeah, at Massey Hall, like, we were, like, right there. Like, we were right on top of him, and if you, like, scoot a certain way, you can even see him and his drum kit, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
But it just is a reminder of, like, how alive you can feel. And it was just a really great experience. Again, like, energy wise, it was a bit tough, but it was, I think, a good experience for both of us, I feel like. But I don't want to speak for you, but
No, it was great. I enjoyed it. And I mean, the venue, I've only been there a handful of times. So the renovation they did was like amazing. And one thing I really enjoyed was we took the elevator up.
through the accessibility, yeah.
And in the hallways, they have all the concert tickets and concert posters throughout the years.
The
Flyers, like artists who've played there. They kept all that. And they did it like wallpaper, and it looks so amazing.
Oh, the renovations!
You could stare at it forever.
They did a really great job with the renovations there.
Yeah.
And if Kathy, like, if you're still on, do you remember, like, the Massey Hall shows that we've been to? You must have gone to, like, so many there. I feel like like, you and I went to Travis together. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I feel like that was a really, really, like, Travis was a super great show. I've seen so many great shows at Massey Hall, but I'd love to get, like, Kathy's input on the shows that she's seen here, because I'm sure she's seen some amazing ones. But I'll just, like, go through some comments since they're coming in. It's XX Dark Reaver. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank
Hope
you.
you're taking care. and your the happy birthday. Thank you so much for your birthday wishes. It's Tracy. Thank you,
Hi,
Tracy.
Tracy.
Um, and thank you thank you for joining us tonight. And I hope you've been taking care, and I hope you had a really great trip. Speaking of like European trips,
Mm.
um, Tracy asked, do you talk about the after? That's the hardest part for me. Can you give me a little bit more on that, Tracy, in terms of the after? Because I'd be more than happy to talk about anything. But if you could specifically let me know what you meant by that, I'd be more than happy to talk about it. Kyle says, story got pulled away by a phone call from my mom for a bit in regards to my brother's recent prolonged hospital stay and moving into a nursery home. Oh,
Mm.
it's a lot. Um, that's it's hard. It's hard to, well, from personal experience, it's hard to have prolonged hospital stays, and then to know that the next step is in a long-term care facility. And I hope the best for everyone. Love to y'all. Catherine is saying, I love Massey Hall. It's the best place to see anyone. I'm so glad you got to see Ringo together. It's so important to make memories together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at Massey Hall to boot. Haha! And Kathy is saying, I remember seeing Travis at Massey Hall with you. It was incredible. I've seen tons of brilliant
Mm.
shows. I know you have.
Yeah,
I know you
Kathy's seen a
have.
lot of
Yeah, and actually,
great shows.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's seen like a lot of great shows, like period. But I'm sure like she's seen incredible shows at Massey Hall, and a few of them I think I've seen with her. So I've been lucky enough to experience not only Massey Hall but like these great concerts with Kathy. I've been praying for you, Mom. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Jim and I talk about my life after he's gone. So the after. Yeah, I think that we do talk about the after, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that it's important that we do. Sometimes it's lighthearted, sometimes it's a bit morose, because I'll say like some weird stuff like, let's role play. This sounds so crazy. I'll be like, let's role play the moment that like I have my last breath or something like that. And he just kind of looks at me like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. And that doesn't necessarily work
Yeah.
out. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, all the time. Even like last night, I think as I was going to
Mm-hmm.
bed, I was talking about some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, I think it's important to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We don't dwell, I don't think too much on it. But I worry about Joe. Um, absolutely. But hopefully, as we go through this journey, like we build, you know, in two ways. We build, um, for me whatever happens to me happens, and to build for Joe for whatever happens after what happens to me. Um, I wish that I can have this kind of a conversation, more of this kind of a conversation, um, with like my mother, for instance. Actually, I worry about my mom quite a bit. Um, but Joe and I, at least I try to force the conversation. I think that because there's like I'm a taking care of person. I think I like
Mm-hmm.
want to want to make sure things are taken care of. So I know that I can't dot every I and cross every T, but I want to be able to try to um, address like what I can, or try to do what I can to help set Joe up for whatever's next. And I because I think that's, part of the reality of all of this. So Tracy is saying, I don't mean to be gross, I don't think so. It's just that we had the oncology appointment today and it's scary. I know you have experienced that too. Yeah, like these oncology appointments, to some degree, like it's so I got diagnosed, during COVID, and and because of that, I couldn't have anybody with me throughout pretty much my entire treatment until probably the last 2 months. And when I started the new treatment with the Bold 100, was the first time that
I was able to
to actually sit with me during treatment. And thankfully he was there, because I got sick during the treatment, and he was able to make sure that he got a nurse and was able to, that I wasn't like puking on myself or anything, sorry, vomiting on myself or throwing up on myself, which, and if he wasn't there, that would have happened. So I'm so thankful that he was there. But at the same time, I think it also is maybe made it a little easier for Joe not to have to go to all these oncology appointments with me, because I think that they're like, I've gotten used to it. I go and it's about me and it's happening to me and all that kind of stuff. But to have to just have, I think, the person who loves you, the person who's there for you, the person who wants to be able to do everything that they can for you, and to just be at the hospital in these oncology appointments and maybe not, like feel empowered, because it's not they're not really empowering appointments, So I think to some degree, I think that might also help with resilience, with not having to go through these experiences, because I could imagine, Tracy, that like going through these experiences with your husband, and just like the actual being at the appointments, I would imagine they're tough, so tough, right? Like you want to be able to do so much for him, I'd imagine, and just to be like, then you do so much already, and yet, like you kind of at the mercy of like these tests and these blood tests and this and that and imaging and all that kind of stuff. It's hard stuff for sure. So I think that I have like this renewed kind of sense of like, yeah, like it sucked that I've had to go through a lot of this myself, but at the same time, I feel as though maybe to a certain extent it allowed for Joe to have a little bit of a distance, or a bit of not having to experience those kind of peaks and valleys that I've been able to be the one to talk to you about, right? Like what the doctors say to me, instead of like, Joe being with me, kind of like hearing what the doctors have to say, and like for him to interpret it in his way. I feel as though I've been able to interpret what the doctors tell me, and to be able to communicate it to Joe in a way that, like sometimes they're hard, but maybe not as difficult, and maybe even as traumatic as being in the hospital and like, having to go through it with oncologists and stuff like that. So that's sort of like, that's sort of the thoughts that I had around that. My wife isn't ready to have that particular talk with me, and I don't blame her. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm a complete nut, Joe probably, he wouldn't want to have any of these conversations with me either. But like I sometimes, kind of have to. Like I force them, and again, like not always in sort of like intense ways, I don't
Right.
think.
No,
You know?
nothing like that.
Yeah, but we do talk about the after for sure. Yes, my mother-in-law is so worried.
Mm.
Yeah, I bet she is. My mom, yeah, she's tough. She's very, it's challenging. I think I've talked about this before. My mom is in Japan, and primarily she speaks Japanese. Really, like, not really an ability to be able to have a conversation, especially one where it's like nuanced and complicated in English. And I don't know that I'm able to have those kind of conversations in Japanese, but I try to.
Mm.
And every so often, like, I know she doesn't want to talk about these things, but every so often I will talk about it, and I know that it's really hard for her, but I feel as though, like, I should mention it every so often, just because I just don't want her to, I don't know, like, just, it's not like it's gonna be out of the blue or anything like that, but just so that like, we're having conversations. um I I'm very I'm very respectful of the fact that my mom, she may be in a situation for herself where she is protective of herself, and I respect that. If this is what she may need, like, if a certain distance is what she may need to get through losing her only child, then I will respect that. I have a really great relationship with my mom. I have no doubt whatsoever in my mind that she loves me unconditionally, and that's something that I will, never, like, that's something I've always known. It would never be something that I will ever question, even if it may seem weird to other people that she's maybe not, like, jumping on a plane and coming to see me right away, or being here for me, like, physically, but she has been here for me, like, every single day,
Yeah.
and we speak every single day. And there's some, some, every family has its own kind of, like, quirks and weirdnesses, and certainly mine does. But I respect what my mom needs to do in order for her to be able to protect herself in however way she needs to. Are you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Catherine says, Joe, how has business been going post COVID? Are you seeing an increase in foot traffic? Also, I may have missed it. Have you talked about how you are doing in the bold treatment? So I'll for you first.
Me first.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, it's been interesting. I mean, COVID. I think. Um, I think at the beginning of it, I was actually very busy because people needed something to do and everything was locked down. But as it progressed, I think it got worse and worse because less people had money. Like some people lost their jobs
Sure.
and that type of thing. So it was, yeah, pretty tough the last two lockdowns, I would say.
But post COVID.
But post COVID, um, you know, the other thing is the economy, inflation. So, with the price of gas and everything, and
So has business been going though? For you?
it's what I could say. There's some days it's okay, and other days it's tough. Like I can't really say every day's been amazing because it hasn't. And
How do you think that your business is now, like, versus, like, let's say pre-COVID? Would you say that it's hugely different?
you know what I think it is different because I think unfortunately the things I deal in, some of them are really expensive, and it's gotten to a point where video games, like, they're stupidly expensive, and
Retro games.
yeah, and I just won't buy them. Like, if it's too much money and stuff, because a lot of people just don't want to buy them, and I don't blame them. You know,
Or finding the right customers for the people who would pay that kind of price for stuff.
yeah. So it's
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
you're in a pocket like right at U of T, so a lot of the customers that you have are students or people who are probably on more of a fixed income
yeah, for
and
sure, right? So, and it does suck because something you like, you enjoy, like, some it's gotten so pricey. Some of the stuff, like, especially if it's in the boxes and all that, it's like stupidly expensive. And that's not really why I started the store. I started it because I enjoyed it, but as time goes on, I'm not enjoying it as much. If that makes sense.
mm. So I think like there's the amount of business stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's one thing, but there's also at least in how you have um, shared your experiences with me
Hmm.
anyway. It seems as though the actual everyday of the business itself can sometimes take its sort of toll.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. And at the end of the day, too, it's just stuff. It's you know,
that you're dealing in.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, it's great that people enjoy it or collect it or whatever like it, but you know, I have a different perspective on that stuff now than you know, I guess when I first started. So.
Mm-hmm. And also, yeah, like dealing with folks, a lot of different kinds of folks can be challenging sometimes too, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so Catherine was also asking, also I may have missed it. Have you talked about the how things are going with the bold treatment? I haven't really talked about it. I've said that I've started it, and I talked about a little bit about the mechanisms that I understand in regards to the Bold 100 specifically itself, and also it's Bold 100 plus Full Fox that I'm doing. And with the Full Fox, I'm getting some neuropathy this time around. And so far, it's been 2 treatments actually. Now that I think about it, I'm going in for my third on Thursday, and I don't have a CT scan. The next CT scan is scheduled for November, the first week of November, the first 2 days of November actually, and so won't really know. My CA 19-9 hasn't been looking great, but it's tough to tell just after the first treatment like what that means. So I guess in terms of the seeing whether or not the CA 19-9 moves one way or the other will be seen in the next couple of weeks, I guess, in the next month or so as the treatment continues and the CT scan to see what's going on. Um, what's interesting about how I'm feeling today or how I've been feeling the last little while is some of the physical discomforts that I've been feeling around my abdomen have been I've noticed that I haven't been feeling those discomforts, like those physical discomforts in the last little while. Don't know what that means, but it is something that I have noticed that I'm feeling not as much of the discomfort since I've started the bold. So again, like I don't that's more kind of from a feeling place, but I don't know exactly how the bold 100 is doing in terms of my diagnosis. Um, I know again, like it's creating some neuropathy, but I guess we have to see in the next month or so with the CT scan specifically to see what if any improvements there are in relation to the treatment. So fingers crossed the next little while. Cheryl says, I think we should all have a conversation about the end. I think on the other side. You just never know. We lost friends unexpectedly. Hugs. It is so true that we don't talk about these things because we don't expect for these things to happen. And in some ways, as much as, that I was objectively dealt this difficult hand to play, I've been able to play it with some time. And I'm so thankful for that, because that's not clearly always something that that people have been able to have, like literal privilege of time. And so and the fact that we are able to have those conversations, and not just for, and again, like as I was saying earlier, that in some ways to look at our respective journeys as me going through a certain journey myself to get to wherever it is that I'm going to, but also for Joe to be able to have his experience and to set himself up for the next, part of his chapter, his journey, is been a gift. And the fact that we're able to talk about what things could look like for him afterwards, or what his options could be potentially afterwards, all those kinds of things are, I mean, the fact that we're able to do that is, I think, has been an incredible gift. So when we're able to have those kinds of conversations, I think it is important to be able to have them. And there are books and stuff like that on Amazon where you're like, this is the book that you should look at when when I pass or whatever. I actually got one of them, and I didn't find I didn't find that particular book to be specifically very helpful. It's like this book, it's around here somewhere, but like you kind of like, it'll say it's like my insurance is this and my doctor is this and all that kind of stuff. But some of it was helpful, but I feel like not every, like some pages were kind of like filler and things. But I was thinking that, like, to be able to take the most useful stuff in that book and to be able to have it so that that when I eventually pass, that Joe can go to this book and know it's like, okay, well, this is your password for this. This is your or this is my password for this, or I've taken care of that, or this is and like even last night we were talking about, I just remember what we were talking about last night. I was saying how I would like to be cremated, and how there are services that provide that they come in and they take me physically away and make sure that things are done, and even like paperwork and stuff like that. And how important I feel like that is to be able to set up before everything eventually happens, just so that that there's less to have to do in when it's going to be the hardest time to try to do them. So to try to be able to have some of the stuff taken care of, so that like that, when there's time for grief, that there is time and space for grief, rather than to have to deal with these kinds of things. And Tracy's saying, I think you both are strong and brave and loving and kind. Just want to just to thank you for your support, and thank you so much, Tracy, for your continued support. It's very kind. Oh, so I don't think those kinds of things are morose. I think those are kinds of things that again, like I think it's important for us to be able to talk about, and Joe and I do talk about, and we, yeah, um, try to have, and I try to also educate myself on this kind of stuff. So I read a lot of books about people who have done palliative support, or hospice support, like those kinds of things, and what they witnessed in their clients or patients, and these are like such invaluable things. There are people in this world who are doing this remarkable work of supporting people as they make that transition, and they have so much knowledge and wisdom about this end of life experience, this end of life journey, on so many different, of course, like, so there are so many countless ways that people experience end of life. But there are people who do the work, do the hard work of being the people who support, and or professionals who are there to um, help families and individuals go through their journeys, and some of them, those resources are incredible, and I read through a lot of that stuff and learn from them. And when I do, and I feel like there are things and ways in which I can bring that into what can help us, it's something that I try to do as well. So I keep talking about it. You're both amazing. Love to you. We have our weekly Zoom with friends soon. Must run. One of our position players got the W. Oh, your positions player got the W? First game of the doubleheader. Laugh out loud. So one of the position players got on the mound and got a win.
Oh, that's funny. Wow.
See, that's what's amazing about this Mariners team. And hope, well, we'll connect again, Cheryl, very soon. And hope. I'm honestly, like, I'm hoping that it's not Toronto and Seattle in the first wild card. I can't. I don't know how I would handle it, to be honest with you, because I mean, the reality is, like, 99% of my baseball heart is the Blue Jays, but at the same time, I'm a baseball fan, and I want to see the Mariners go as far as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he's our catcher, went extra innings. That's awesome.
That's funny.
Thank you for the cards, though. Thank you for the beautiful cards, and thank you for dropping in, and thank you for your kindness, generosity, support, and friendship. That's the one thing I don't often mention, like the friendships. This has been amazing. Catherine says, I've done the prep work for my family and partner. He wouldn't be able to manage that after the fact. Cremation for me, we have a free spot that's gorgeous where we can put into the lake. That's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm sort of on the same sort of vibes as you. Yeah, just having to sort of, like, sort out those details. Like, there's time to do that now. Like, why wait until a time where it's necessary, and having to kind of do all of that when it's like the worst time ever to have to figure that out, as far as I'm concerned. If we can have that taken care of beforehand, that's something that I think that it's an important thing. I'll just say, Cheryl, thank you again for dropping in, and Mondo Squishy hugs to both of you, and Mondo Squishy hugs back at you too. So thank you again, and enjoy your Zoom with your folks today. But I just want to go back to what Catherine was saying over here. Yeah, like, one of the things that I also decided after again, like going through some of these resources and tapping into what's out there, is that like a lot of times, like people will say it's like, oh, I just want to pass away peacefully at home. But home is a place where we lived together, like that we have home together. And there was a podcast that I listened to where the idea of like passing away at home um, sounds comforting, and perhaps for the person that is passing away, there is truth to that. But it was this podcast of a husband and the child of a woman that passed away from cancer. I wish I can remember the details, and I wish I can remember the names, but I can't. But they were talking about sort of this, Tracy, to your point, like the after of the experience of losing the partner. And Tracy, if you're interested, like let me know. I can always send you the link to that particular podcast if you're interested in checking it out. If Tracy, you're still on even, but let me know. But after listening to that podcast, I realized, okay, I would actually rather be, and not just for me, but I think for everybody in my life, when it comes to a point where I need palliative or hospice care, that I'm actually in hospice, that I'm in Toronto and I have access to a number of very good organizations that have like very good hospice care. And that way, when I'm needing the medical attention that I need, all the medical like medications and all these kinds of things that need to be taken care of, it can be taken care of by hospice people, and people who are professionals who know what they're doing, and they can take care of meals and all these kinds of things. Like that would be even like meals that I can eat, and they would be able to cater to that instead of having that on any of my loved ones. And so I have a hospice place in mind, and have sort of I'm in waiting, or I'm in line, and they know that if it gets to a point where I need hospice care, that's the place that I want hospice care at. So that those kinds of things are something that we wanted to make sure of as well. So yeah, that's one of the things I thought I'd mention. Catherine was saying, I don't want to pass away at home and then have him have to live there. Yeah, I want to use palliative care. I made it very clear. I filled out the paperwork so it's not a surprise. Yeah, yeah. These are things I think is important to think about and to set up. And I definitely and again, like these are conversations that a lot of people have, unfortunately, but I think are important to have. And I think the more that people talk about it, more people will ask questions, or to have the conversations that that I think would be helpful for people to have. Sorry, talk type is not catching my words and spelling. I feel like it is. I feel like I haven't missed anything. If you feel as though I have, please let me know, Catherine. But no, I don't think so. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fighting machine. Yeah, I don't know that, like, to say that like these things just to kind of cover your bases is meaning that like it means that you're giving up or not fighting. I don't believe that to be true. I don't believe that to be true for myself. I just want for people to have for the people in my life that I love and care about to have as least traumatic of an experience as possible. There's no way of getting around the fact that there's going to be some level of trauma that's involved in this. Is this hard, or is this?
Yeah, it's a little hard.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll stop talking about it. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, folks.
That's okay. I could talk about this because I think that it's important to talk about, but I know sometimes it's hard on Joe. So you're also a fighting machine, and I'm so proud of your hard work. Thank you so much, Catherine. I don't relate to like fighting analogies too much for myself. I think that like it's different for everybody. For myself, I'm trying to love my way through this journey, and yeah, like it's a funny thing. I'm not a very good fighter. I kind of crumble. Crumble? No, like conflict and stuff like that. Like I find that I don't operate well in that kind of like a feeling sense, I guess. And what makes sense to me is just to love through things, and that's what I've been trying to do through this whole experience, is just to keep loving through everything, even through the hard times, even through my tears, even through times when I'm not able to eat and like having difficulties and all that kind of stuff. I still just try to love through it, and that's what I've been trying to do. Kyle's also saying that it's what you don't want to pass away at home, so my wife doesn't have that specter hanging over her here. Yep. You're a lover, not a fighter. I mean, when I need to kind of like do the conflict thing, I think I do the conflict thing, but I'm not very. Not that I don't know how many people really love conflict, but I just like, I don't know. There's something in me that just doesn't feel good around like conflict and stuff like that. Catherine says, I'm so not a fighter, I'm a lover. I think that's the better word. I don't use a fighter word often. It's working my way through my journey is how I express it. Yeah, like I feel like I relate very much to that, Catherine, because I'm definitely yeah, like it just love through stuff. And it's just a better feeling for me, at least, anyway. You're also a better fighter than Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson. Hey, I don't know about that. I'm sure at least like Tyson, who still can actually say something, will probably have a word or two to say about that, but doing my best over here. Can you share where you would also like to go on your list? Right. So, I think, thank you for asking that, Catherine. Because I feel like, again, one of the things that I really, there's so many things that I have experienced in the last couple of years that I am so thankful for. Some of them have been trips and experiences and so forth, and some of them have just been relationships and friendships and connections that I've been able to make, and especially through even doing these kinds of live streams, and also through my psychedelic experience, like working with Dr. Vivora. One of the things that he said to me during my first journey, during the psychedelic journey, was he said to me, "You're a manifester," and it just kind of like landed on me like a bunch of bricks. He's like, "You made this happen," and and I don't, sometimes I get like really down on myself and I'm like, nothing ever happens to me and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, I do get to experience a lot of amazing things.
Mhm.
And I've been gifted so many amazing experiences. Not to mention like the connections and the friendships and everything else. But that said, I do have a bucket list of things that I have written a bunch of like a couple years ago, maybe like when I first got diagnosed. Definitely things have changed since then. And I think that I'm really down to three specific bucket list items. Four specific bucket list items. And the first one I'll share is I'd like to take, I'd like to, with Joe, do the trek um, from Toronto to Vancouver on the VO Rail Canadian, which is a 4-day trip across Canada, at least from Toronto to Vancouver. And I've been obsessed with this train ride since I found out about it a few months ago. The thing is, it's expensive, and so I want to figure out how to be able to raise funds to be able to do it, because we're not able to do it in coach. I won't be able to survive coach with this thing. I would need a room with a bedroom, with a bed and all that kind of stuff, because in economy in coach, I think on the Canadian, it's like literally just like a train seat that you're just sitting in for 4 days. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to manage that. So in order to be able to, for me to be able to do the Canadian, I would need to be able to have a bedroom for two, which I believe is about $4,000 for two of us to go on the Canadian, and not only that, to go to Vancouver, and then to fly back and to stay there and all that kind of stuff. So we don't know how much it would cost, but want to figure out how to be able to raise funds to be able to do that comfortably, so that it would make sense for both of us. So that's like number one, is to be able to take this train ride from Toronto to Vancouver on the Canadian. And that's something that we really want to make happen, because I think it'll be an incredible trip of a lifetime. The only time I've ever been to Vancouver is when I have just on the way to Japan coming back. So I would be able to maybe enjoy and learn about Vancouver. But also this, if you ever just go on YouTube, you're on YouTube after this is done or whatever, whenever you have time, the Canadian, look up the Canadian via rail, Toronto to Vancouver. I think it's better Toronto to Vancouver than Vancouver to Toronto, just in terms of the experience of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that I definitely want to experience. The second is to be able to, Catherine, I see you talking about Downey Live. Yes, I have seen that. He's awesome. He's doing an American thing right now that I'm totally obsessed with. And he's taking the Rocky Mountaineer, which is an amazing, I think, experience unto itself as well. That I would say no. I never would say no to if that experience presented itself somehow. But yeah, like those Downey Live are awesome experiences. But the second one is, and I don't even know how this can happen. It would be a month trip to Japan. And again, it would be challenging because I don't think I can do economy on in an airplane. I think that it would need at least like business or something like that to be able to lie down through the plane ride, because at least how I'm doing right now. So, and that on top of like, all the expenses and things like that, that would be on top of it. That would be incredible to be able to spend a month in Japan. Would be insanely incredible. Third, I think, is some kind of cruise. Just to be, I think that there's something about just being on a cruise and knowing that I can, that the ship is taking us from place to place instead of being on like having to like move around. This ship is like taking us places, and for us to be able to, for me to be able to experience that, I feel like it could be like a low risk, high reward kind of an experience. So some kind of a cruise. And the fourth thing that I would like to actually do, because we're manifesting, so I'm putting it out there. I would actually like to be able to host a sing along and Q&A at Massey Hall. I would like to be able to rent out Massey Hall and do a concert of some like not a concert, like a sing along, so that people could sing. Like I would put my songs out there like that I want to sing, and hope that people would want to come and sing along with me, and also have like a Q&A an experience in relation to that. So those are the four things. Is it four? Yeah, four things that I'm is my current updated bucket list. So thank you for asking, Catherine, that's what I'm that those are the things that I have on my list right now to want to accomplish, to manifest, as Dr. Bravora has said to me, and I hope to be able to do that. Kyle says you're combating an opponent that beats all of theirs combined. I think we're talking about Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is quite an opponent, but also I don't know, like so some way of them trying to, some whatever is going on within my body trying to thrive in a certain way that Joe's getting tired. Yeah, so let's try. Oh my god, we're almost like 10 o'clock, so maybe we'll go into like 10:15 or something like that, and then end it. But yeah, I mean, it is quite the situation, or quite the experience that this is, for sure. Hal says you guys should come down and spend the week in Indianapolis. I know a great place where you can stay for free. That's also has an incredible library to boot. Oh, that's so sweet, Kyle. I mean, it's interesting that Catherine, first of all, okay, I'm going to come back to that, because Catherine was saying, oh my God, that's on my list, the train ride. But then Nina, I think, has had to go. And keep loving well on your journey. Thanks for sharing tonight. Talk again soon. Sending loves and hugs, Nina. Thank you, Nina and Jim. And if you've already gone, I'll connect with you on Twitter. So I will talk to you there. But thank you again, Nina, and for everybody showing up. I think me talking about my bucket list has gotten people to be like, I'm out of here now. But I just wanted to throw these comments up, because have you watched Downey live on YouTube? He took his dad. Yes, I saw that. There's also several other ones. There's a Japanese guy who came from Japan, I think like earlier this year, who did the Canadian too. And there's a certain style of Japanese traveler videos that are very specific. Like, they don't show their faces, and it's all just sort of like captioned, but they're very interesting. And there was like a bunch earlier this year, I feel like, or maybe I just got into sort of like this headspace around the Canadian, where I was like watching all these different videos about people who have gone on that Canadian the train ride. And I did see the Downey live, and like I mentioned, he has an amazing like America series right now that I'm watching too. And Catherine says, me too on the cruise. We are in sync. We get one another. And Catherine is like, wow, that would be awesome at Massey Hall. And Kathy is saying, I hope you can accomplish your goals. All my Love to you.
Thank you, Kathy.
If you're still here, and thank you so much for the amazing alpacas hoodie coziness, and love you so much. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna go back to what Kyle was saying. Super kind of you to offer. And it was funny because I was watching one of the Downey Live. Um, he goes on these train rides to all these different places, and amazing, awesome. Like I think he has these really great adventures, and he was riding a train, and I think that he was going through Indianapolis at one point, and I was just like, that's where Kyle would be. So if there's a way that we can figure out maybe how to get to you by train, because train travel right now seems to be like a big kind of like train or sea travel
Right.
or something like that kind of seems to be something that I'm like really most interested in kind of experiencing. But yeah, so want to be able to manifest these things. We'll see how it happens. We'll see how it goes. I love his episodes. Yeah, I mean they're very well produced. It turns out like I think he worked for he works like in TV production, Downey Live. Or he did, at least anyway. And so his production value on his videos are really, really quite good. And yeah, they're great to watch. They're so it's just the possibilities of like these are the kind of experiences that is possible to have. But yeah, like I mentioned, the Canadian. If for those of you who haven't been able to maybe see anything about the Canadian, I think is a looks like an incredible journey. It's an incredible journey. Catherine is saying, I was watching something about Japan. Now I get his recommendations to watch people with their offers in their homes. It's wild. Well, that's funny. Offers in their home. Like for people to just stay at their homes. And it's funny because Japan's only opened up borders for people to come, for tourists to come into Japan, which is weird because they had the Olympics.
Yeah.
I was completely convinced that there was going to be another variant of COVID that was going to come out of the Olympics, because how can you get all these people coming from all over the world in one place, and then they were competing and stuff like that in a pretty small geographic area, and not have something like a variant of COVID come up?
Right.
I'm surprised. I was completely surprised that it didn't turn into a complete crap show. that particular Olympics. I don't know who watched it, but train runs about a mile behind my house, though drop-off points are about 20 miles. That's funny. Yeah, so trains, Japan, ships, Massey Hall. They have millions of people watching them raise offers. Oh, raise otters. Otters. Yes. They are trying to maintain their otter population. I actually follow an otter channel, Japanese otter channel, because it's so bizarre. People have otters in their homes, and I mean they seem like they're having a good time, but it's otters. I mean, you have to have a lot of and I mean, they can't be in central Tokyo, or they're very, very well off. Otherwise, because to have that level of space to be able to, because the channel that I follow, I don't watch them consistently, but they have like a giant outdoor area for their otters.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, to have that kind of like space, it's like the entirety of our apartment
Yeah.
is like the size of like the outdoor that they have for the otters. But oh, I would come up to Toronto to sing along with you. Oh, have one person who would come.
There you go.
So far, we have one. It all starts with one. But yeah, so that's a definite dream that I have. I've always had this desire to do something at Massey Hall, but I think that it got really sparked up again, seeing Ringo there, and experiencing that. It was incredible. It was incredible. I mean, and again, I'm an easy cry, so as soon as it started, I started crying, and it's like need to try to make that happen. And on a day like today, where it feels like I have the energy to be able to do it, wow, pretty remarkable stuff. I will forever be a Princess Joe and Saint Joe fan.
Thank you, Kyle.
Any channeling what's my channel is the otters I keep getting recommendations for. I think the second one is the one I think I follow, but I don't watch them all the time. But every so often I'm like, these otters have it good. I'm like, these otters have it better than I do. I'm like, that's a pretty good life for an otter. All right, so wow, like I was thinking maybe a couple of hours, but we've gone we've gone 3. Yeah, so
6 minutes.
6 minutes. So we'll
10 seconds.
yeah, so we'll wrap it up in 10 minutes or so because we have to go to the hospital in the morning and we haven't had dinner yet. So yeah, we gotta make some dinner and some birthday dinner and rest up for some blood work stuff tomorrow and things like that. And I will always root for the Blue Jays because of you guys now too.
Oh, thank you.
Yay! We have a Blue Jays fan. That's awesome.
Well, we're very glad they clinched a wild card spot because last year was exciting, but it was kind of disappointing because they missed the playoffs by one game, and it hung in the balance of like another team whether they would get into the playoffs or not. So I'm glad for certain they clinched it. So
yes, and yeah, I mean it was an interesting baseball season for me, and I think that it's a little.
The COVID season, they made the playoffs, and you were in the hospital, and we watched the two. It was just 2 games.
Yeah,
right?
2 games.
Yeah, it was 3, but they lost both of them, so they were knocked out right away, and it didn't really seem real, I guess, because there was no.
Well, I was in the hospital.
You were in the hospital, and we were watching on your iPad, laptop, and yeah, they were playing in Buffalo.
Yeah,
there was like no fans, so it was kind of a weird experience.
But also, like, it was just weird overall,
right?
With everything else that was happening, and I remember during like one of the games, like, is when I told my mother what was going on because I was in the hospital and my diagnosis and all of that. So, it's a weird time of year. So it's been 2 years since that, and even like last year, it was getting around this time, and I'm like, well, like, I don't know, like, let's fingers crossed I'll see another season, and that kind of feeling is, real for me right now as well. So, fingers crossed that they do well for the rest of the season, but also that I get to see another one, another season. So, hoping for that. And kisses from Kyle. Thank you.
And thanks, Kyle.
And Catherine says, thank you so much for hosting.
Oh, thank you.
I've certainly missed your lives. And we hope to be able to do more.
Yeah, more often.
Yeah, that, like,
it just wasn't possible. Like,
the last little while, I wasn't in no condition to be able to do anything like that and anything like this. But it's been a remarkable birthday, and it's been a remarkable day, and these few hours just been able to spend with all of you have been amazing. Kyle, peace, love, and light, endlessly to you, my dear friends, and to you too, Kyle. Always, 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 always. Wow, it's been quite a day. And then we're now gonna have some dinner.
Yes.
I'm good with eating like seafood, so we're gonna have some seafood for dinner. So exciting! Wishing you a very happy birthday, Mila. Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for doing so after treatment and getting home after treatment so that you could be here with us. So thank you so much.
That's awesome. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah. So, what do you say?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming, and we'll try to do this again sooner rather than later.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna make some dinner.
Yeah.
We're gonna make some dinner. Thank you again.
Okay, thanks everybody.
And yeah, and I'm hoping that this specific how I'm feeling right now is part of a trend, and that we get to do more of this. Right.
Bye.
Take good care.